is the Magnate. You're welcome to this week's edition of the program. Last week we started a conversation on food sufficiency or security as you have it. There's no family, there is nobody who does not need to eat food. Even if you want to diet, vegetables can also be cultivated. That's the reason why we need to converse, discuss this topic, and of course find a way around it to have sufficient food on our table. And I still have the guests that we brought you last week, Mr. AbdulRasheed Mohammed. He is the Chief Operating Officer, Continental Logistics Limited. You are welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank you very much for the insight you provided last week. We are happy to have you here. Earlier on, we talked about curating a particular seeds or crop to make a difference between the local ones that we have. But let's look at it even from the cultivation point of view. How well do we excel in that to be able to have quality and sufficient food on our table?
Thank you very much, madam. Agric is a living thing. Let me put it that way. So just the way humans are continuously evolving in terms of medicals to protect themselves against common diseases, like the recent one that came out last night that says that the malaria drugs are no longer effective.
True.
So what people don't really understand is that there are institutions out there that are continuously fighting to bring out better
seedlings,
better medicine to fight the malaria.
Okay.
But for the agriculture in Nigeria, we don't have that tailored fight against plant diseases.
Plants, okay.
Yes, crop diseases.
Yes.
Crop diseases. The mutation of insects that causes a lot of harms to plants, and the fact that the gamali, whatever that was been using for all the years, is still being used as part of taking care of the pests and the herbicides and all that. So that market of really protecting the plants from increasing ability of these insects to really attack it is not giving that right focus. So what you get to see is that the farmer will complain, this land, the last time I planted it 2 years ago, I was able to bring out 500 tubers of yam. But this time around, it's not.
Reduced.
Yes. So what they can't really put together is that particular land has been overused.
Depreciated.
Has depreciated so badly. The insects are burrowed in the land. So much happens between the planting and the harvesting.
So who are those in charge to educate?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's a gap.
So, big time. And that is where the trouble starts. Now, people don't really want to go that far, because the truth here is that when you tell the farmer, even if the use of fertilizers, when you tell the farmer that this is what you need to do, the first question the farmer would tell you that I don't have the money to buy this right stuff for me to take care of the seedlings. So every year their output diminishes because there's really no standard way of dealing with these issues.
Okay.
So those are the challenges. And if you look at some of the crops that are produced in the north, something like sunflower. Sunflower is a crop sunflower is a crop that gives you the best oil, and it is grown between Yola and Muri in Adamawa State. And when I was there in 2025, I just said to myself, this is just going waste, because they were attacked by some weevils and all that. So it's a challenge.
So storage is another question entirely.
So before we even get to the storage, the fact that from the soil to the harvesting
stage
is a big value chain that nobody actually attacks.
Okay.
And that's where the issue is.
Okay, so but you just enumerated a lot of things that can boost crops. But I also hear of dung, maybe cow dung, animal dung. Can that boost the soil that has been used over time instead of fertilizer? I'm just curious.
It's easier said than done, madam, because in the first instance, where the dung resides is far away from the farm.
Yeah.
And saying for it, in the true sense of it, cattle rearing is not aggregated. They are just like, I mean, you see them just going all over the place. So what effort can the farmer put in to go and get dung? Because they will tell you to bring that dung is going to cost you X. And if you do your mathematics very well, which they do very well, they will say to you, it's even better for me to go and get these insecticides and these fertilizers and start looking for dung all over the place. But when you have an integrated farm, and that's no longer a subsistence farming. That means this is more of a commercial business. Then you can actually move your stuff from cow dung, from the ranch and straight into the into the farms, and which I think some people are doing somewhere between Saminaka and Kaduna. Yes, but the truth here is that ability for us to take care of I will call it under the water challenges is really not coordinated. So you hear government agencies talk about fertilizers, talk about insecticide, but the truth here is that those things are very expensive for the farmers, because the farmer has only the crop, because he would have sowed the previous season and use it to take care of his family, take care of the school fees and all that. So institutionally, that challenge is there for the farmers.
Okay.
It's only when you have commercial farming, those things now becomes part of what they call their value system to take care of.
You know, part of the challenges you have enumerated now, even during the planting season, I remember sharing my experience. A nephew, because we are trying to encourage the youth to go back to the farm. When they go, part of the challenge is, to be precise, you have monkeys and pests harvesting the yam, and which somehow has reduced in the harvest. Have you experienced this before? Is this something you're familiar with? Animals harvesting.
In fact, for the southern part of Nigeria, it's a big challenge that you have the root crops being attacked by humans. In fact, the activity of humans is even more than the monkeys and the gorillas of this world. Yeah, some people just wait for you to get the whole thing, and they know the timing of the harvest period. They just come there in the night, uproot all your cassava, and that is it. Wow. It also happens in cash crops, in oil palm. My cousin has one in Ekpoma, and he bought it with so much money, and the crops were pruned. They practiced pruning and all that, which is really very key in giving so much space for the oil palm to really grow. Believe me, at the end of the day, when the product was ready for harvest, they came in one morning and discovered that 3/4 of the farm has been harvested. So it's that is a different spin in what you see in our agricultural space these days. The major spin that, like I said earlier, is really how do you tell the youth to go to the farm? How? You want you say you are buying tractors, you are buying these. Can they drive tractors? And the way tractors are used in farming, it's not. You have to learn it.
Of course.
Otherwise, you destroy the farm itself. So those are the things that I have found that makes it very, very difficult. So we need a concerted effort to say to ourselves, how do we even produce the stuff from the soil? What are the pre-activities that we need to do in ensuring that the yield per hectare increases all the time? And once it increases, it means that you're already getting close to full sufficiency that we talked about. And if you don't, then it becomes a challenge.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it is for now.
Earlier I was talking about education, which you have also alluded to a while ago. Knowing the right soil for a particular crop, or would we just do it randomly? We used to hear of extension services. Shouldn't these farmers be assisted to be able to make food sufficient on our table?
I will come back again. It's not as straightforward as you see because of the nature of what is going on today. In my university days, we used to go to places where we practice extension services. Even when I was doing my project in 1988 on the land use decree, on how it affects farming in Agribude in present-day Edo State. I used to meet agricultural extension officers. But the population has grown, and the ability to meet these things by the government officials have not actually grown. Okay. And if you even go to these extension officers, some of them will tell you that they don't even have operating funds, operating funds to even go about looking for people to even tell them what it is. And the insecurity itself, you go to a farm, you are telling them what to use, and you are kidnapped. So it's a very complex. So like I said much earlier, agribusiness is not a business of where you sit in the office and just extrapolate and talk. It's something that you actually say to yourself, how do you tackle these issues? You can't tackle it just like that. Like I said, I've been to so many places in Nigeria in the agri space. Sometime I was in Hong, H-O-N-G. Hong is a place where we have a lot of cattle, and to see how they even handle the cattle was even not too nice. Because the first instance, the feeds the cattle get, it's expensive.
Wow.
Yeah, and the animal husbandry that is done by the locals is really not delivering the value to it. So getting those whole thing together and now asking yourself, even when you now aggregate these products from the farmer, where do you put it?
That's where the conversation is leading.
So I'm trying moving as I'm trying to take you through the value chain, and I've said to myself, even when you do all this, how many silos are in Nigeria? And what is the capacity of those things? So those are the things that I think
we'll get to that because we are taking it progressionally. You're still on the cultivation stage.
Absolutely.
We're going to get to the harvest and even the preservation.
Yeah.
The program is the Magnates. We are still on food sufficiency. Our guest is Mr. Mohammed AbdulRasheed. We'll be back shortly. Food sufficiency is the topic we are extracting on the Magnate. And our guests, our magnates, remain Mr. I call him Alhaji AbdulRasheed Mohammed, the Chief Operating Officer of Continental Logistics Limited. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much, madam.
I would like to really appreciate you for the insights you are providing, hoping that we are learning and those in authority are also hearing so that they can implement the desired policies that needed to be. Let's conclude on the planting season and let's go to harvest. Because even the harvest itself has myriads of challenges. What do you think?
Thank you very much, madam. It's great to be back again. Like I always say, agribusiness is a business. So there's business to do in a business. People take agric as a way of life. That's anything that is the least you need to invest your time. It's a hobby, absolutely. But they've forgotten that is where the cradle of life actually starts.
Sure.
So, like I said in the earlier, the challenge of pre-harvest is much. So we need to really tackle that. Then, when we now move from pre-harvest to harvest, there's even some 5 to 10% waste from your pre-harvest activity to the harvest stage. Yeah, and these are so ingrained in the business of this whole structure that apart from the human theft that happens at harvest period, the animals too, the insects too, everybody wants to feed.
You want to eat from your sweat.
So it's like a food chain. So when the grasshopper wants to feed, it feeds on the seeds of the maize, for example. So because they don't have the ability to really detect this, you discover that in some of the harvested maize cannot even be processed because it has actually been eaten by
damaged,
has been pre-damaged even before it gets to it. So let us assume that is that could be taken care of. Now we now talk about the harvest. Now you have a farmer who has the ability to harvest 600 bags of 100 kilogram of maize, for example. Now, where the farmer lives in a hut, or lives in a house, or lives in the village, where will he put it? In my days in the village, when my dad, uncles, I stayed with my uncles, were harvesting yams, we were always having waste. Because most of them, they get rotten, especially the water yam.
Exactly.
So the water yam gets infested, durability. And before we start to pull it in the barn and tie it so that it will be off the floor, things happen. So the critical thing here on harvesting from the farm before it gets to the aggregator is where do you actually put it? It happens to food crops, it happens to cash crops. It happens to oil palm. Like I said much earlier, that oil palm business that can be a very good source of forex is only the Okumus of this world and the other the other one along Benin Saple Road that will actually are gaining it, and they're on the stock exchange, and you see the people buying shares and all that. The smaller ones have this challenge of, first of all, how do you take out the seeds from the bunch? You understand that? And the quality of the bunch is a reflection of how you treated the plant itself, because some of these trees are old. So every category of this product have their challenges in terms of how you aggregate them and keep them in a warehouse or in a store that will allow that farmer to take it to the market. Don't forget that the market itself is not within his space, about 3 to 5 kilometers away. The roads, the logistics of the road and the fuel and the okada they use to tie it. So everything all comes out, and also the fact that the farmer also needs to have some money to get it to pay his own bills. So harvesting space and post-harvest space are two different things. Okay. You understand that? So most people just think harvest. No, because for you to make your products available to enter the value chain, it has to be either to be pre-cleaned or to have a little bit of a reduction in the moisture content of it. Because if you take it like that into the space, and the moisture content, like the content of the water inside the plant, inside the product is 50%, 30%. Before 3 days, it gets rotten.
Okay. You know, what you have just analyzed brings me to the point of you having worked in a multinational company of beverage and all of that. How do you see a synergy between these farmers and the end users? So that synergy, all these companies cannot have their own farms. They rely on these locals because of the storage you talked about. Shouldn't there be a synergy there?
That brings me, thank you very much. There should be, because it's a value system. It's a marathon race, or let me put it differently, is a what do you call it now? It's a baton change. So you have the pre-harvest activity like we discussed, then we have the harvest itself, then we have the post-harvest activity. Now, the post-harvest activity is where the issues are mainly. And one of the critical things about that is storage. So where do you get storage? For the grains, most people in the north have now built big warehouses where they put the grains, where they do the processing of the grains and all that. I will come to that later. But let's just talk about the little farmers. They don't have the ability, or they don't have the wherewithal to move those grains to a place where the aggregators, who are really the big time players, will come and buy it. So that's a very serious challenge. Now you talk about the industry. The industry is not going to come down to the farmers level because they don't have that capacity and that leverage. What they will do, or what they do, is that they leverage the activities with the aggregators. And the aggregators in this context are people who buy off the farmer from the farm gate.
From what you're saying, that means a farmer should not bother himself about looking for storage. He should just farm and get people to come and buy and go and store.
But that gets people to come and buy. That intermediate has to be stored.
You see, we are discussing this so that we'll find out.
So that's a challenge.
That's it. How do we solve that challenge?
Fantastic. One of the critical things, now that we are coming to how we get this thing horizontal, one of the critical things I've seen in the course of my activity as a collateral manager in my company is that you need to provide storage facilities, and the storage facilities differs from stage to stage. You need the pre-harvest storage facility where the person will even have to put the inputs that goes to the land. Some people don't have it. So you have this instance in which even those inputs have gone bad. So you have the storage, maybe a very small space. Then from there, the person there's also the need to now have the pre-purchase. And that's where the issue is. Because if you're
before it is harvested, you purchase
exactly. Yes. Some buyers,
oranges and cashews.
Absolutely. Some farm buyers, they do that. But the ones that are smarter, they will say, no, allow me to harvest and come to my location.
Okay.
You understand
that? That pre is cheaper.
It's always cheaper. Anything that adds to a flow is a cost. Anything that adds to a flow is a cost.
That means some are smart now.
Yeah. So what that happens is that when it now gets to the aggregator, like the big boys for the grains business in Dawanu, you see them saying they have 5,000 metric tons, 20,000 metric tons, 50,000 metric tons, 100,000 metric tons of sorghum. Now, when you go into
in the farm or in storage?
In the storage.
Okay.
They would have collected it from the farm gate in bits. Because let us also forget that the farmers cannot give you that kind of volume. Because
so
of the way.
So you buy from this,
so you buy from
aggregate.
Aggregate it. So it's the aggregator that puts all those things together and push it. And most time, there's what is called price discovery. Most time, the price discovery is done by the aggregator. And the aggregator will just say, okay, this is what I need to do. But there's a challenge here. What happens now is that even the aggregator themselves don't have that kind of money.
In all of this value chain, who smiles to the bank more?
It's the aggregator. It's the aggregator. It's the one that is the one that
cheating everybody.
No, yeah, because it's also investing.
That is him that is the real businessman.
Yes, because it's also investing in it, and
he had the risk,
and he can get 100 trucks of grains today into his warehouse, and the market drops, the price drops, and he will now say, okay, let me hold on, and 2 months later, the grains are infested. And in it from the experience I've had working for some federal government institutions, a bag of grain weighing 50 kg can turn to 20 kg in a week.
Wow.
And every other thing will be powder.
Okay, Mr. Mohammed, let's the conversation is getting quite serious and interesting. Serious in the sense that you are talking of grains. We are a major producer of grains. But some years ago, if it's not still happening, we are still we are importing grains to meet our needs. Is that correct?
Technically, yes, it's correct.
Okay, so it's the magnates. Let's hold for now. Food sufficiency is the focus. You can see that even the areas we never thought about is just coming up. And Mr. AbdulRasheed Mohammed has been throwing light on this. We have just talked about pre-planting, planting, harvesting, and that's it. Let's continue the conversation same time next week when we shall look at more challenges and how they can be second. The Magnate it has been. Join us same time next week. Remember, this program, you can watch it again on our YouTube channel. And of course, follow us on our social media handles. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
AbdulRasheed,
it's my pleasure.
Mohammed, the Chief Operating Officer, Continental Logistics Limited.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week to conclude. Thank you.